Good morning, and this is Wonderful Wednesday, and it's time for a high five. This is Mary Boster McKen Boster Ministries with you again today, and I want to tell you what's happening on the Hebraic calendar today. It's Tu B'Av, which means it's the 15th day of the month of Av. There's 6 things that happened on this day that make it so historic, and it really is called, it's like a Jewish Valentine's Day. It's a Jewish day of love. And the first thing that happened, you find that in Numbers 36, 8 through 9, any unmarried woman who inherits property shall marry one of the family members of her tribe. And this ban was listed, it was lifted on this day after the first generation and entered the land with Joshua. Now, Judges 19 through 21, a tribe of Benjamin was prohibited from marrying daughters outside the tribe because of the incidents of homosexual Benjamites raping the Levites' concubine. So the tribe would not cease to exist. So a few remaining Benjamites were allowed to take one of the virgins dancing on the 15th day of Av. On the 15th day of Av, the women, the virgins, would go out into the woods and they would dance all night. And it was a time that the men would just hide and watch the women and pick their bride. It was kind of amazing. But I want you to read Judges 19 through 21. This is one of the worst stories in the entire Bible. I mean, this guy was a Benjamite or a Levite, and he let his concubine be raped and all night long by these homosexual people from the tribe of Benjamin, and then almost the entire tribe of Benjamin was wiped out. That was amazing. Now, the third thing that happened on this day, that those 20 years and above quit dying in the wilderness on the 40th year. And this is what happened is, remember the 12 spies? The 12 spies, 10 of them gave an evil report that there were giants in the land and God wasn't able to take care of the giants. And so the people believed the negative report, like that's happening all the time today. And the people believed the negative report. And so in Numbers 14:29, it says, "You will all drop dead in the wilderness because you complained against me. Every one of you who is 20 years old and older was included in registration will die." And so what happened is every year on the 9th of Av, they would dig their graves. Anybody that was 20 years and older, when the 10 spies gave their report, they would dig their grave every 9th of Av. And they would lay in there and sleep in that grave all night long. If they woke up in the morning and they weren't dead, then they knew they had another year to live. But this was the 40th year, and what happened is nobody died, and so they thought, well, maybe it was miscalculated. So then they waited another day, another night, and another night, then another night. They slept in a grave all those nights, and then on the full moon, they realized that the punishment was done and they were going to be able to go into the promised land. And so people quit dying on the 40th year. On the 15th day of Av, they celebrate that. And the fourth thing that happened on this day is the last king of when the tribes were divided. We had 10 tribes in the north and called Israel, and 2 tribes in the south called Judea. And so the tribes in the north were not allowed to go to Jerusalem, but the last king of Israel opened up the gates so the people could go to Jerusalem and worship the Lord, and that happened on the 15th of Av. And the fifth thing is, during the Second Temple period, wood was rare and had to be brought from far away. The last day the wood was brought from storage over the winter months was Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av, and then they would celebrate breaking an axe and burning it. And the sixth thing that would happen is in 132 BC. Really, it's supposed to be 80. It's supposed to be 80. Simon Bar Kokhba led a revolt against the Roman Empire. On Tu B'Av, the Romans permitted the bodies to be buried. Now, this is interesting, because we remember hearing, I know I'm going over my time, but we remember on the 9th of Av, we had this Simon Bar Kokhba message again. But on that time, they died. 100,000 Jews died, and their bodies were laying out there for 7 days. Now, Jewish people get buried the same day. They don't embalm their body; they get buried the same day, and so they can go ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And but they were not able to bury them for 7 days out in that hot sun. 100,000 Jews. You would think it would be stinking. But when the Romans allowed them to bury the dead, the bodies were in perfect condition. They had not decayed at all. God had preserved 100,000 bodies that were laying dead and for 7 days in hot sun, and that happened on the Tu B'Av, that they were able to bury the dead. So it is the Talmud considers it the greatest festival of the year, with Yom Kippur being the second. Yom Kippur was a forgiveness of the golden calf. Tu B'Av is a forgiveness of the bad report of the spies. So I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. God bless you. And remember, this is a day of love. So walk in love. Amen. Bye-bye.